Yes, we are back. Pardon the technical difficulties, But this is a continuation of what we were talking about earlier on, in the podcast. So, peace. Y'all can continue.
So yeah. So this is the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States, Article 2, and that all disputes which might arise in future on the subject of the boundaries of the said United States may be prevented. It is hereby agreed and declared that the following are and shall be their boundaries, viz., from the northwest angle of Nova Scotia, viz., that angle which is formed by a line drawn due north from the source of St. Croix River to the highlands along the said highlands which divide those rivers that empty themselves into the river St. Lawrence, from those which fall into the Atlantic Ocean, to the northwesternmost head of Connecticut River, thence down along the middle of that river to the 45th degree of north latitude, from thence by a line due west on said latitude until it strikes the river Iroquois or Cataracoy, thence along the middle of said river into Lake Ontario, through the middle of said lake until it strikes the communication by water between that lake and Lake Erie, thence along the middle of said communication into Lake Erie, through the middle of said lake until it arrives at the water communication between that lake and Lake Huron. Thence along the middle of said water communication into the Lake Huron, thence through the middle of said lake to the west to the water communication between that lake and Lake Superior, thence through Lake Superior northward of the Isles Royal and Philippox to the Long Lake, thence through the middle of said Long Lake and the water communication between it and the Lake of the Woods to the Lake of the Woods, to the said Lake of the Woods, thence through the said lake to the most northwestern point thereof, and from thence on a due west course to the river Mississippi, thence by a line to be drawn along the middle of the said river Mississippi until it shall intersect the northernmost part of the 31st degree of north latitude. So basically, this is the boundary. This is the title. So it's laying out the boundaries, the land boundaries that are being the land boundaries that come along with the territorial sovereignty that's being transferred from Great Britain to the United States. So did England / Great Britain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did England / Great Britain continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States via the first 13 states in Articles 1 and 2 of the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States? The answer is the second part. England / Great Britain did continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States via the first 13 states in Articles 1 and 2 of the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. So once again, we're showing where our claims are coming from. Our claims are coming from the evidence, which are these said treaties. 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty between France and the United States, Article 1. Whereas by the article, the third of the treaty concluded at St. Ildefonso, the 9th Vendemiaire, on 1st October 1800, between the first consul of the French Republic and His Catholic Majesty, it was agreed as follows. His Catholic Majesty promises and engages on his part to cede to the French Republic 6 months after the full and entire execution of the conditions and stipulations herein relative to His Royal Highness the Duke of Parma, the colony of province of Louisiana, with the same extent that it now has in the hand of Spain and that it had when France possessed it, and such as it should be after the treaties subsequently entered into between Spain and other states, And whereas in pursuance of the treaty, and particularly of the third article, the French Republic has an incontestable title to the domain and to the possession of the said territory. The first consul of the French Republic, desiring to give to the United States a strong proof of his friendship, doth hereby cede to the United States in the name of the French Republic forever and in full sovereignty the said territory with all its rights and appurtenances as fully and in the same manner as they have been acquired by the French Republic in virtue of the above mentioned treaty concluded with his Catholic Majesty. So, question, did France return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did France continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 1 of the 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty between France and the United States? And the answer is the second part. France continued to keep conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 1 of the 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty between France and the United States.
And that's the title for today. That's the title for the United States. That's the claim. That's the claim that the United States is making. This is United States. All right. So in 1803, so 1800, it read Spain. A map, a world map. Yeah. In 1804, a new world map is created, and they have United States. That's what happened, because that's territorial sovereignty. France is transferring territorial sovereignty to the United States. So we're talking today because they still have that claim. How did colonization end it?
Yep. And as you can see, before this 1783 definitive peace treaty, the United States was not in the picture at all, like you just mentioned. So when we're reading the treaties, the cession treaties where land was territorial sovereignty was being transferred amongst, from Spain to France to England, back to France to Spain and things like that. The United States didn't exist to even play a part. So United States got into the game, 1783.
Yep. And New York State. So start New York State claim to the land comes from Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty. His Britannic Majesty is relinquishing to each of them individually. United States Feds, all 13 in name. Yep. And so now it's vested in the people of New York. Yep. The boundaries, the boundaries that's in the Duke of York. You have the Duke. You have two charters. You have the Duke of York's charter of 1664 that was granted by his brother, King Charles II. Then you have, so when King Charles II died, Duke of York ascended to the throne as King James II. So another charter had to be created, the charter of 1689. New York State, the people of New York State is now vested in the land boundaries that's in the charters, colony charters are now vested in the people of New York State. That's the chain of custody is now in the people of New York State. The people of South Carolina State. Yeah. The South Carolina County Charter. The people of Virginia State. The 1609, there's two of them. Two company charters, 1609 and then 1619. So both of them. Now the people of New York State. The land boundaries are not in the Constitution of New York State and South Carolina State Constitution, Georgia State Constitution. The land boundaries are in the colony charters. If there's a land dispute between North Carolina State and South Carolina State, they ain't taking no South Carolina Constitution to the court. They're not taking North Carolina Constitution to the court to be examined. They're taking the colony charters because it's the land boundary dispute. Why are they taking the county charters to the court to be examined? Because the land boundaries are in the county charters. And they taught this way.
Oh, yeah.
And it has to be taught with detail like this. We have to read the articles. We have to.
Islam, brother.
All right. So this is the Convention of 1818 between Great Britain and the United States. Article 2. It is agreed that a line drawn from the most northwestern point of the Lake of the Woods along the 49th parallel of north latitude, or if the said point shall not be in the 49th parallel of north latitude, then that a line drawn from the said point due north or south, as the case may be, until the said line shall intersect the said parallel of north latitude, and from the point of such intersection due west along and with the said parallel shall be the line of demarcation between the territories of the United States and those of His Britannic Majesty, and that the said line shall form the northern boundary of the said territory of the United States and the southern boundaries of the territories of His Britannic Majesty from the Lake of the Woods to the Stony Mountains. So did Great Britain and the United States return to conquer and colonize land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Great Britain and the United States continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding lands to each other in Article 2 of the Convention of 1818 between Great Britain and the United States? The answer is the second part. Great Britain and the United States continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding lands to each other in Article 2 of the Convention of 1818 between Great Britain and the United States. 1819 Adams-Onis Treaty between Spain and the United States. Article 2. His Catholic Majesty cedes to the United States in full property and sovereignty all the territories which belong to him, situated to the eastward of the Mississippi, known by the name of East and West Florida, the adjacent islands depending on said provinces, all public lots and squares, vacant lands, public edifices, fortifications, barracks, and other buildings which are not private property, archives and documents which relate directly to the property and sovereignty of said provinces are included in this article. The said archives and documents shall be left in possession of the commissaries or officers of the United States duly authorized to receive them. Did Spain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the land, or did Spain continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 2 of the 1819 Adams-Onis Treaty between Spain and the United States? The answer is the second part. Spain continued to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 2 of the 1819 Adams-Onis Treaty between Spain and the United States.
And United States territorial sovereignty is not with the 1913 United States and 1871 United States, and the one in Florida, established in Florida, and that's Article 3, Article 4, Section 3. United States, meaning that the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Like how did Article 4, Section 3 come about, where it's land is managed in the hands of Congress? How did that come about? The states, there were six larger states, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts. They made claims in 1717 to the Northwest Territory after defeating Great Britain. They ceded it started in 1781 in the Virginia House of Commons, in Virginia State House in 1781. That's where they started the legislation to cede it to central governing body. That legislation began in 1781, and so it took about 3 years to complete that legislation and be ratified, and then it was ceded. Virginia state ceded to the United States central governing body, and then other states followed. Then that's when that is the basis for the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. What it's there now is managed in the hands of Congress. They drafted from 1780 from the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 to Article 4, Section 3. That's where that came from. That's how it became managed in the hands of Congress. So when France transferred territorial sovereignty to the United States through the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, all right. Now we know that the president has that power. The president has treaty making power. All right. Through Article 2, the United States president has treaty making powers. Now the United States Senate ratified. But as far as the land being managed and overviewed and the admission of new states, that is Congress, Article 4, Section 3. Congress cannot transfer that power to another United States that Congress creates. I mean, it's not all that. It's just they don't understand foundation.
Now, when you say foundation, what's a good foundation for us to grasp or study? I would say that the Constitution would be the first one, right?
Well, regarding the concept of these different United States, it would be what I said about
vested.
The word vested.
Okay.
Yeah, the word vested. I would because they need to understand the word vested. Once they clear on the word vested, they got it because they know that it's fixed, it's inherited. So once you clear that it's inherited, that it's fixed, that Congress cannot transfer that. United States president can't transfer that. United States Supreme Court cannot. It ain't enough for them because it's vested in them. It's vested in that. In the judicial power, United States judicial power is vested in the one Supreme Court, not in the presidency. United States judicial power is not vested in the president of the United States. United States judicial power is not vested in Congress. United States judicial power is vested in one Supreme Court. United States executive power is not vested in the Supreme Court. United States executive power is not vested in Congress. United States legislative power is not vested in the presidency. United States legislative power is not vested in the Supreme Court. That lies what? The doctrine, the separation of powers doctrine. The separation of powers doctrine, see how I'm doing? How did the separation of powers doctrine came about? Based on what I just gave you. There you go, that word vested again. See what I'm doing? I'm giving you the how. I'm glad the question. So I'm demonstrating how. This is the how.
Nation, yeah.
Checks and balance. Separation of powers doctrine. That word vested is the key. Invested. You will not put invested because invested is delegated by the power invested in me. INVEST. By the power invested in me. But the word is not invested, it's vested. It means fixed and inherited, not delegated. That's major. Meaning a whole presentation this to be doing on the word vested. That's the word vested. If they understand the word vested, they got it. They don't know what the word vested. They what I'm saying is they pronouncing the word. They're just pronouncing it. They're pronouncing it, by they read it and they just pronouncing the word. But what I'm saying is there's not internalization of it. They're just pronouncing it. How you know they're pronouncing Abdullah? Because you got people in these what about this United States, corporate United States? If they weren't pronouncing it, then there wouldn't be somebody put in the chat this corporate United States. That wouldn't be in discussion at all. That would not be no discussion among the Europeans. Nobody would have no discussion about no other United States. If they understood the word vested, no Europeans, nobody, no one would have any discussion or give great validity to it. They're giving validity to it. The fact that they're giving validity to it shows me that they're just pronouncing the word vested. They don't understand the word vested. Because you would never give no validity to some other United States. Who gives a jack? They don't have constitutional authority. I'm only going to focus on the United States that has constitutional authority. Why would I focus on another United States that Congress creates that has no constitutional authority? Mm-hmm. Congress don't have no doggone power to transfer their power, their vested power to an entity that they create through legislation. I'm just saying. Foundation. That's all. This is how I gotta teach it, Ron. I can't. There's nowhere other to teach it. You gotta teach foundation. What they do? They immediately jump to 1871. They give so much study, so much time, so much validity to 1871 in 1913 in Florida and the one in Delaware. They give so much time and validity to that. And no time to the word vested. That's the constant. I'm just saying, Ron.
Let me ask you this: who pointed that out to you, or did you just discover that on your own? Like how important that word is.
All right, Shem Malachi Bey. I was like everybody else. I was like the rat hole, like everybody else, and going through the misconceptions. I told you, 27 years I was trapped in misconceptions.
Okay,
so and I just honed in on the word vested, and then even looked up and then focused on showing the difference between vested and invested. And I remember I already had the skills of analyzing words. I already had that. I already had the skills of grammar, semantics. All right. Those principles I already had. So it has a lot to do with that too, Ron, too. So that, because it don't take much for me. All you got to do is do this. Put me in the right direction. I get it like that. Because why? I already have the skills, and it's why y'all taught the difference between Adams-Onis matters. I have those skills. I have those knowledge base. I have the skill and knowledge of analyzing words. So I already had that. I just was pointed in the right direction.
And I don't think they really go too far on that 1871, the Act of 1871. I don't think they really go deep into that studies. They hear it, it's on the surface.
They don't. They don't go. You're right, Israel. They just because they're actually parenting.
It has a couple of names. The Act of 1871, the Act of Congress, the Enforcement Act of 1871. The long title name for it is and also the act, the Ku Klux Klan Act is another name for it.
Yeah, Ku Klux Klan. Yep.
And the long title name for it is an act to enforce the provisions of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States and for other purposes. That's the full title to that.
All right. So, but they're using that as this as a united another United States has all
States or something. Yeah, like,
as if it has constitutional. They talk about this other United States as if it has some constitutional authority.
Right. And if you read
like
it,
they don't challenge it based on its lack of constitutional authority.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
They talk about it.
They read it. There's no way they can come to that conclusion.
Oh, well.
You know what I'm saying? If they read it, though.
Right. Yeah. They talk as if it has great validity as that that's constitutional authority, you know, because this United States, you know, what the difference between United States and the corporate United States. I don't care nothing about that.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm only going to vote Israel and Ron. I'm only going to give validity and focus on the one that has constitutional authority.
Yeah.
Like, why would I?
Constitutions don't create corporations; they create governments. You know, establishes governments.
Yeah.
To keep it simple, follow the elements. That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to go put. I'm going to put my time and focus on the one that has constitutional authority. That's the one I want to deal with.
Yeah. Proper concepts.
Because that's the one that can be held. That's one that has the obligations.
That's the one that's the party to the treaties and things. Yeah.
Right. We're not trying to even oversimplify it. We just going to foundation of it. And we're presenting it in this, even in this tone, to show that it's not all that. Is that it's been conflated with the misconceptions and then the foundation, meaning that we need to put the focus on the foundation. We need to strengthen them with foundation. And this is where I'm putting the emphasis on the word vested, because that's foundational.
Yeah.
When you don't have a strong base, then you could be misled. They could just say boota. They could just say Daffy Duck. I'm not even exaggerating. They say Daffy Duck, United States, and they won with that. Happy the clown. I mean, and that's what's been happening. And so you can tell they don't have foundation. It's clear.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even fit to govern. I'm just keeping it real. What I'm supposed to say? They keep, they don't have it.
All right.
Because they can't discern. They can't discern falsehood from the real. They don't understand the principles. So we put the focus on the United States that has constitutional authority. Because that's the only one that can do anything, that can make, because that's the obligations falls on that United States.
Yeah.
The obligations don't fall on no other United States. They obligated to do what? As far as constitutional, they have no constitutional authority to do anything. They have no constitutional authority to legislate, no constitutional authority to interpret. They have no constitutional authority because the Constitution does not give them that. It's not vested with them. I'm just reading the Constitution. What else am I supposed to read? I mean, Let's,
Yeah.
and then you ask and then even taking a court case to the Supreme Court is going to be based on what? Meaning, all right. Let me continue. This, give me.
Nah, you were cooking, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's move.
Yeah, let me cook it. Yeah, let me cook. All right. So Congress legislates. Now, because Congress legislates stuff all the time, you know, these different statutes, that don't mean they meet constitutional muster. Because it's a legislation, that don't mean it meets constitutional muster. That can be challenged. Legislation can be challenged through a constitutional question. It can be taken to the Supreme Court. What is the constitutionality of this statute? It doesn't meet constitutional muster. So what is the constitutionality of Article 18, Act of Congress 1871? You see where I'm coming from? I'm giving you the how. You see the power of thinking proper.
Mm-hmm.
This is the how. They're giving validity to this act of Congress. Ooh, it's like, yeah, this United States. Yeah, the corporate United States. Yeah, the corporate United States. They never think about, does this act of Congress meet the constitutional muster? Or what is the constitutionality of this act of Congress? Let's take it to the Supreme Court. They're not even thinking that. Yeah, this United States. Ooh, yeah, 1871, 1913. Yeah, Florida and Delaware. They ain't thinking like we're thinking. I'm gonna keep saying it again. It ain't all that. See, now is what I'm saying, Ron, help me out, Ron. Is what I'm saying complicated?
No, not at all, really. Not at all. But just like you said, the foundation.
There you go. That's my point.
People are not even thinking this deep.
Of course not.
You know, like people are dealing with like this, and just like how you took us from the earlier dates on up into now, like they miss all of that.
Yep.
So all of that is like is a continuation or a trail or glue. To get to this point right here. So, you know, y'all got to go back to the older videos.
Yeah, cause we go in, man. Yeah, we go foundational. That's our focus.
And then it's easier to connect the dots and understand where this is going.
Absolutely.
You've been following the videos.
Yeah, we go foundational. I don't know what else that's how we teach. This is our usual teaching. Foundational. We don't even talk off of foundation. I mean, our discussion is based on foundation. We measure it by the foundation, by the principles. This is thinking properly. They got to reach this level of thinking. This is a must. This is not optional.
But brother, do you brothers have like a class that people can like go into to get the foundation and follow the you know your the way you teach?
We got what it is, the various lessons that we've taught, even with King L. Bay. You know, even with Shem Malachi Bay, my stuff, Israel's lessons on etymology and semantics, my lessons on etymology, my lessons on grammar. So we have mirrored it. You know, I have two grammar courses, grammar course on, or 3 or 4 of them, grammar course on clauses, a grammar course on phrases. So it's not just one, it's not even one particular subject matter. You know, it's grammar, it's semantics, it's vocabulary building, it's etymology, it's legal principles, it's political science, it's constitutional principles. We have all of that. So to pick out one, it would be it'll be a variety of all of that.
Right. So do you have like a space where, just like from what I'm assuming you taught,
Right.
well, you taught yes, real, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And then King as well. King also taught Israel too. But as far as etymology and semantics, grammar, I taught Israel. Yes.
Yes. So with that, how did you begin that process? Like, if anyone is interested, how can they learn from you or your students?
I got videos too. Also Israel. I have classes that I sell. We have classes for sale. We also have I've done a lot of one-on-ones with Israel too. Yeah, I've done a lot of one-on-ones. So that's,
they can contact us for one-on-ones,
Yeah. I do one-on-ones, that study sessions as well. But I've done with Israel, I've done a lot of one-on-ones with him. So because I was preparing Israel to do what we're doing now, where Israel can assist me, and I needed someone to be able to assist me to this level that he has been doing. So it's been 2 years. He's been working with us, and I've been 2 years of ongoing teachings. And as a result of that, it's bearing fruit. So this is a different situation because it's a lot of extensive one-on-ones with him where we talk about, etymology and semantics and the history and, vocabulary, but dictionary study skills, proper concept. I mean,
dictionary study skills.
It's right. So that's why, because of so I just want to be upfront with everybody. Israel had got direct one-on-ones, extensive direct one-on-ones from me, as well as King Al Bay.
Yeah.
And then, and also Israel being disciplined too. His being disciplined and also taking the studies and doing a lot of the studies on his own outside of us, and taking what we've given him and he's doing a lot of studies and actually helping us prepare. With Israel putting together these different PowerPoints, and he would take the initiatives. Israel taking the initiatives to put together particular different lessons. Say, well, what do you think about this, King? Or what do you think about this, Abdullah? And he would actually put on his own. He would take the initiatives on his own. And so as he's preparing these different PowerPoints, he's learning.
Like I'm learning.
I'm just because I got to be upfront with the people. I can't. I'm not going to. I ain't gonna bullshit people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Israel has had, but I'm just so proud because, this is our investment, and this getting a return on our investment. They help is what I needed. I needed the help for curriculum development. What we're doing now, Israel's been on with, he and I do this together.
Right.
We did Benelete joint last week together. We thought, yes.
Right. But now, are you focused? Now, do you teach how to train the hypoglossal nerve though? That's my favorite.
Israel, go ahead.
That's my favorite.
That's basically what I get into. Like that, becoming conscious of the word itself. That's how you train that. So etymology, the whole linguistic lesson is how you train that hypoglossal nerve. Because now you're not gonna speak and then think about what you said. You're gonna think about why you're gonna choose these words. Small words, big words, whatever, it, or, a, and, like, why am I going to use this word? Why am I going to apply this word? How it fully functions. So you'll choose it wisely. That right there reactivates that hypoglossal nerve. It reconnects the hypoglossal nerve.
Right. Now you from Kansas City, right?
Nah, Kentucky.
I mean, Kentucky. Sorry, that's somebody else. So Kentucky. So you're from Kentucky. I can hear your accent a little, but not so much. So did you have a maybe a thicker accent before getting into this, or is this just
this is just me right here, man.
Okay.
A lot of people don't even think I'm from Kentucky.
Gotcha.
But I'm conscious of I'm word conscious. I've always been word conscious, like at least like the sounds of words and things. Like I used to say a word but I was younger, and then the word would just still repeat in my mind, just until it didn't even until it sounded strange or something, like back in the day. So I've always been interested in words, how they sound. So when Abdullah linked with me, he basically just gave me the game, gave me the rules to show me the whole field, So I took it and ran with it.
Right. Now we're going on to the next slide, or Do we have to? Are we out of time? We have 10 more minutes.
Yeah. Are there any questions? If there are any questions or anything?
Any questions out
Yeah,
there?
we're gonna entertain questions now. Yeah, let's do that.
And pardon the craziness every now and again, man. This podcast gets a little colorful. You know? Any questions out there? Any questions out there? All right. No questions. So I guess we'll build about the next podcast. It seems like we have an idea. What's the difference between the United States, Union States, and things like that?
Yeah, we could do that because we fact Israel, but we've been talking about that for a while, right? In 2 years.
Yeah.
And we were
kind of go along with the book that we're working on as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it sure does. It sure does. Yep. Yeah. If you're here and I working on 5 or 6 books together.
Yeah, actually, this right here is part of the book. Yeah, what we just
presented. It sure.
Yeah,
it's part of one of the books. He's right.
Now, so how to get his books? You see it right there, Moors and Masonry.
Yes.
Masonry.org. That's where you can find those. Ishmael Bay, peace, brother, peace, brother. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. I really appreciate you, Israel, Abdullah, I'll see you soon in the flesh.
Yep, in the flesh. Yep. Next month.
In the flesh. Next month.
Yep.
Anyway, peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody. Let me run this commercial. And hold on. We are out of here.
Peace, family. Welcome to NYP Talk Show. This is more than a podcast. It's a conscious platform rooted in truth and culture. From the 5% Nation, Nation of Islam, Moorish movement, and Masonry. Our mission is to reclaim our narrative and uplift the African diaspora with real stories and real conversations. Support us through super chats during live shows, donations on Cash App, GoFundMe, Patreon, or Buzzsprout, and by repping our official merch, available on our website and right here on YouTube's merch shelf. Every dollar, every super chat, every hoodie builds the movement. This is NYP Talk Show.